Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Alex Beyond Thoughts podcast with me, your host, Alex. It's so lovely to have you here today. I hope you're having an amazing day. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the fact that you are in a lot more debt than you realize. So, when I'm talking about this debt, I really don't mean just financial debt, and this will come into it a little bit later, but I'm talking about time debt, sleep debt, emotional debt, success debt, happiness debt, of course, financial debt. You're in so much more debt than you realize in all of these areas because you keep leveraging from a space where you can't replenish yet. So, when we're talking about this debt, we're talking about, let's take sleep debt, for example. You keep borrowing from your time of sleep, procrastinating, punishing yourself for not having enough free time, trading off that sleep time so you can have more fun time in the evenings, waking up early so that you can go do something else. There are positive and negative connotations to creating this sleep debt, but essentially you keep borrowing from a depleting store. You keep building up debt that you can't repay because you don't have enough time in the future to repay that debt. So if you keep borrowing 2 hours sleep here, 3 hours sleep here, 5 hours sleep here, doing an all-nighter in a week, when are you going to have the time going forward to replace that sleep that you have borrowed from yourself, replace that debt that you've created? When we're talking about this debt, we are really talking about how much are you taking from yourself? How much time and emotion and success and happiness are you offsetting in order to be able to have whatever the immediate comfort or the immediate reward is? So if that immediate reward is that you get to watch an extra movie in a night, but you end up 3 hours in sleep debt because you end up only having 6 or 5 hours sleep in a night, you're not going to be able to replace that the next day. You might still be tired. You might still have a lack of energy. You might still upset your hormonal balance. You might still get weird fluctuations with your appetite. You might still have all of these side effects, but you can't actually replace that time that you've lost getting your sleep because the next day you might still have a bunch of plans. You might still want to watch that extra movie again, and you're just creating more sleep debt. You're creating time debt when you keep offsetting things in order to be able to do the things that give you instant joy. When you procrastinate the meeting you need to have, when you avoid doing the taxes that you need to get done, when you stop doing the things that you know are going to need to be done within that time period and saying, oh, I'll do it later, you're creating this time debt where you then have to take it from other things later on and build up this kind of snowball effect where you just run out of time and you constantly feel like you never have enough time. You constantly feel like you're borrowing time from other things. You're not getting to what you actually want to be doing. You then procrastinate harder and punish yourself even further with sleep debt because you feel like you don't have enough time to just relax and enjoy yourself. This debt that you're building in your life is just detrimental to your overall happiness. And this is where the happiness debt comes in. You are taking out debt that you aren't able to repay and creating detrimental conditions for future you against what current you enjoys and what current you wants to do. So you're lacking the discipline and resilience right now that future you is going to suffer for. And when you're leveraging all of this debt, it creates this kind of vortex where you get so lost and deep into the spiral of borrowing from things, of being deprived of things, of feeling guilty, of feeling shame, of feeling like all of these things are just being in control of you rather than you being in control of them, that you then do it more. And it's this kind of negative feedback loop where the things still aren't helping you. You know they're still bad for you. You know that you still don't actually want to do them, but you keep doing it because you're in this cycle where if you don't do that thing, you feel like you're missing out. You feel like you don't have enough time for yourself. You feel like you're failing in your projects or in your work or in your relationships. So you keep borrowing and leveraging where you don't actually have the availability to, and to the point where you burn out. or to the point where your relationship breaks down, or to the point where you're so exhausted from a lack of sleep that you just hit the deck for 48 hours straight and you can't physically get yourself out of bed. For some people, they have been doing this for so long that even in a week, they will struggle so hard to be present. They will feel exhausted all the time. You'll get kind of memory loss. You will feel so foggy and really slow to catch up to things. You'll feel like you are always in this guilt and shame spiral. You'll probably lead to overeating or undereating, restrictive behavior. You will lead to financial debt, a load of worry, a load of stress. Your body will feel it. You'll get sick all the time. Depression, anxiety, like all of these things that you can probably imagine someone that's not in a very happy place right now is feeling. Part of the reason that they might have been in this place is because of this debt that you are creating for yourself, or this debt that they are creating for themselves. So, what we're trying to say here to fix all of this, and I use fix in a light term, like I'm not saying you have to fix yourself, but to fix this issue you've got with borrowing and leveraging from places that you don't have excess stores, is your discipline and your resilience. Those are the two things that are going to really help you get back on track and stop taking out debt in places that you can't afford to right now. So your discipline is going to come in terms of setting an alarm to go to bed, not setting an alarm to wake up. And when that alarm goes off, you have the discipline to stop whatever you're doing, whether it's working late, whether it's watching a show, whether it's reading, whatever it is, you put that thing down and you go to sleep. Or at least you create the conditions to be able to help you get to sleep. I know obviously sleep doesn't come on command, but building up those preparations to let your body know, okay, it's time to sleep now, having it consistently happen so that when you hear that alarm, your brain clicks in with conditioning to know, okay, that means it's time for bed, better start releasing melatonin, better start getting myself ready to sleep. It's in terms of time debt, time block your calendar, make sure that you're not putting in too much time or too little time for certain tasks. If you know you are a procrastinator and instead of 30 minutes to do a task, you're going to need 2 hours, block in those 2 hours. Make sure you've got the time for yourself available. Stop adding things to your ever-growing to-do list because that is building overwhelm. That is building the feeling that you just can't touch any of it, because if you can't do all of it, there's no point doing any of it. Not super good for your discipline, not super good for your resilience. So have the available time very clear in front of you. You're checking in with it every day to see where you're actually spending your time, what you need to be spending your time doing, seeing where you actually end up borrowing time because you need more, or you are spending time doing something else, getting distracted, and then you end up in this time debt for this certain project or this certain task. Really get analytical and critical with yourself, and not critical in the sense that you're shaming, but critical in the sense that you are eyes wide open and having a really clear understanding of what's actually going on day to day in your life, week to week. When you have that rounded view, you have it all planned out. And I'm not saying you need to be regimented to the point where you're literally on drills, but having this huge awareness of where you're spending your time, where you're creating depth for yourself, where you need more time to do certain tasks and where you need less time, you're able to take back your power. You're able to take back control over the ability to execute in the way that you want to, which leads to your success debt being less. Because in all of this, you're only wasting your own time. You're only delaying your own success. You're only delaying your own happiness because you're leveraging it for something else that's more rewarding in the moment. And then you're saying to your success and you're saying to your happiness, oh, wait, you can wait. I don't have enough time or capacity for you. Like, you could just stay over there. I'll stay happy doing my binge things, watching the TV, reading the book for 7 hours, eating the dessert that I know I don't actually crave. It's just something that I've put in to do. You're saying, okay, you can wait over there. I'm going to reward myself right now for things that make me feel good in the moment. just to inflate my ego, just to make me feel better in the moment, just to make me feel not vindictive, vindicated, just to make me feel vindicated in the fact that I stayed up an hour later because I didn't get enough time today. My boss said this, my boss said that. So fuck you. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I'm going to stay up till 1 a.m. And if I'm shit at work tomorrow, that's okay. But actually, tomorrow at 4 p.m., when you are fighting to keep your eyes open, you're going to feel really bad about yourself. You're going to feel really bad about your choices. You're probably going to make a bunch of stupid ones when you get home because you feel like you are in this negative place. You're operating from a bias that you created yesterday in this debt that you created in your sleep, in this debt you created in your time. And again, you're saying no to your happiness, you're saying no to your success because of this cyclical debt creation that you're trapped in right now. So building that discipline, building that resilience to tell yourself yes and to tell yourself no exactly in the moments when you need to stick to your plans, even if your mood says that that's not it, to go to bed on time so that you're not creating this sleep debt that leads you into this negative bias where you are consistently making the wrong choices because it feels better than making the right ones. Having this resilience in the fact that it's not going to take just a week, it's going to take a couple months of consistent behavior and consistent conditioning to make this easy for yourself, to clock the moments where you are creating debt, to clock the moments where you're leveraging one thing for something else, and be hypercritical in the fact, or hyper aware, should we say, in the fact that you're doing it. This is something that is going to take a skill to build, to notice when you're doing these things, to notice when you say yes to going out for the drinks, even though you can't really be bothered, even though you know it's going to make you feel like shit the next day, even though you know you're probably going to miss your 7 a.m. gym class if you do go. But for the immediate enjoyment and the immediate reward, you say yes. It's picking up on those behaviors, having the awareness to say, okay, I feel the urge to do this thing. However, it's not beneficial for me and it's not beneficial for my time. It's not building up future me. It's actually tearing down what I'm trying to create. Then you know what your answer is. Then you can have control and power over the fact that you know why you're making this decision. It's not just kind of, oh, an impulse decision. Let me just do this thing right now. And then in 2 weeks, when I'm having a breakdown in a midlife crisis because nothing is going to plan, why did that happen? Oh, because I've not stuck to my word. I've not done the things I need to do. I'm in a bunch of debt to myself. I'm in a bunch of debt to my future. Right? So building your discipline, building your resilience, being observant and aware of your choices and the reasons why you're making those choices, and reviewing ones you've made and ones you could make differently. These are going to be absolutely transformational to your ability to stop getting into this debt cycle and to revive yourself from it, essentially. I don't want to keep you too long. I hope this concept isn't too complicated. If you want to discuss it any further, you know where to find me. All of my socials are below. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on TikTok, you can find me on YouTube. But definitely slide in to my DMs if you want to discuss this further. Please stop leveraging against future you. Please stop creating detrimental conditions for future you to have to deal with. You deserve more than that. You're worth more than that. You should be valuing yourself more than that. I believe in you. I believe in your future. I believe in your dreams. Do it for you. Okay? Okay, that's all from me. I will see you in the next episode of the Alex Beyond Thoughts podcast. Bye, guys.